Salinas Valley State Prison would first open its doors in May of 1996 and today houses over 2,500 minimum to maximum security custody inmates. On October 4th, 2013, inmate Brandon Keen was found in his cell unharmed after he had alerted correctional officers that his cellmate was, quote, down. Keen's cellmate, Dimitris Kalazakis, was found lying face up in a large pool of his own blood, and the cell walls were covered in blood spatter. Dimitris was pronounced deceased on scene, and an autopsy would reveal that Dimitris had suffered 6 stab wounds by an inmate-manufactured weapon, had also been beaten so badly that there were blunt force injury with broken bones throughout his face, and that he had ultimately been strangled to death by a ligature.
This time from Stockton, where 2 correctional officers were allegedly attacked by an inmate. It happened this morning at the California Healthcare Facility on Austin Road. CDCR telling us the officers were trying to put handcuffs on Brandon Keen when he stabbed one officer twice, then sliced the hand of another officer. A third officer was hurt while trying to help restrain him. All are expected to be okay. Keen is serving a life sentence for second-degree murder.
What's going on, you guys? Welcome back. Another episode of Green Lit Gang TV. Much love, much appreciation. Thank you guys so much for checking out the channel today. It means a lot that you are here. Really quick, before we jump into it, you already know what we got to do. We got to do the intros. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. I appreciate you checking it out today. If you do like it, go back, check out some other videos, check out some other content, and let me know what you think. And guys, a big thank you to each and every one of you. If you are a regular supporter, viewer, subscriber to this channel, then the growth that we have experienced so far in 2025 is literally because of each and every one of you. You already know how much you guys mean to me. You know how much it humbles me to see this channel just continue to grow in every category across the board. The growth is, again, because of you guys. So again, thank you. Lastly, if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, hit the like button, hit the comment button, engage in some conversation, and smash the subscribe button. Let's roll. All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So, got a good one for you today. We're going to be talking about a murder that took place actually all the way back in 2013 in Salinas Valley State Prison. And then we're going to be talking about the perpetrator of that kind, Brandon Keen. This guy has just become an absolute menace within the correction system in California. So, we're going to be diving into his background. Also got a little bit of the background on our victim in this case. And I know I'm going to say his name wrong. Dimitrios Kalazakis. It was spelt a couple different ways in a couple different articles, but I found his obituary page online, and I'm going to go with that one because I'm assuming his family probably did that for him, so RIP to him. But again, we're going to start with the incident that took place, and then we're going to jump into the sentence that Brandon Keen got for other multiple prison offenses. But this is the first one we're going to be talking about. Monterey County District Attorney Janine Piccone announced today that on January 16, 2019, a jury found Brandon Keen, age 34, an inmate at Salinas Valley State Prison, guilty of murder and assault with a deadly weapon by an inmate. On October 4th, 2013, Keen was found in his cell unharmed after he had alerted correctional officers that his cellmate was, quote, down. The victim, Dimitrios Kalazakis, age 31, was found lying face up in a large pool of his own blood, and the cell walls were covered in blood spatter. He was pronounced deceased on scene. An autopsy revealed that Kalazakis had suffered 6 stab wounds by an inmate-manufactured weapon, had been beaten so badly that there were blunt force injuries with broken bones throughout his face, and that he had ultimately been strangled to death by a ligature. Kalazakis had an anticipated release date of October 15th, 2015, so he did not have a lot of time left, basically 2 years. The jury also found that on August 31st, 2016, inmate Keen was fighting with another inmate, Matthew Jennings, age 46, in the day yard or the day area of Salinas Valley State Prison when correctional officers deployed OC gas to stop the fight. Check this out. Inmate Jennings fell to the ground and curled into a fetal position with his back to the inmate Keen. When Keen saw this, even though corrections officers had stepped in, deployed gas, he pulled out an inmate-manufactured weapon consisting of a toothbrush with 2 razor blades affixed to the handle, proceeded to get on top of inmate Jennings, who was in the fetal position, slash his face and his neck, and inmate Jennings would survive. Now, that was an article in January of 2019. Go a month ahead to February of 19, and more on the sentence. An inmate at Salinas Valley State Prison was sentenced to 141 years to life in prison on Friday for murdering his cellmate in October 13. That was Dimitrios Kalazakis, and assaulting another with weapons he manufactured, according to the Monterey County District Attorney's Office. Brandon Keen, 34, was found guilty of murder and assault with a deadly weapon in January. When he was sentenced by Monterey County Judge Timothy Roberts on Friday, Keen yelled out, quote, "I have no regrets," to the victim's family, according to prosecutors, and that was to Kalazakis' family. Absolutely nuts. Keen was serving a 25-year sentence for mayhem when he alerted prison officials to a cellmate's death on October 4th, 2013. Demetrios Kaloudizidis, 31, was found lying face up in a large pool of his own blood, and the cell walls were covered in blood spatter. So, yeah, that's just absolutely crazy. When his guilty verdict was announced in January, Keen turned around to Kaloudizidis' family and said he would never apologize, according to prosecutors, and repeated his lack of remorse on Friday and said, quote, he loves it and, quote, wants more of it. Being found guilty of murder, Keen turned around in court and yelled to Kaloudizidis' family that he would never apologize for his actions. It's absolutely insane. Facing more time, 85 years to life for other in-prison offenses, and also based on the California 3 strikes law. It's like, man, whatever. Okay, so fast forward, because he had more prison incidents well after this 2019 article. This is an article on Brandon Keen's kind of full California Department of Corrections history. This is April 11th of 2024. California Department of Corrections rehabilitation officials are investigating the attempted homicide of 2 peace officers at California healthcare facility. That was that news story I put up for you guys. At 6:52 a.m., while conducting a mass search of the facility, 2 correctional officers were attempting to place incarcerated person Brandon Keen into handcuffs. Keen resisted, retrieved a weapon, and stabbed one officer twice and sliced another officer's hand. Staff immediately responded and used physical force to restrain him to stop the attack. During the response, a 3rd officer's hand was also injured. The 3 officers were transported to an outside medical facility. All have been treated and released and are in good condition. Peer support services are being offered to employees. Keen was treated with minor injuries and replaced in restricted housing. Brandon Keen, 39, was received from Riverside County on November 12th, 2003. On November 3rd, 2003, he was sentenced to 1 year and 4 months for receiving stolen property and second-degree burglary. He received 250 days of pre-sentencing credit for time served while awaiting sentencing. Keen was placed on parole supervision on July 19th, 2004. While on June 14th, 2005, so about a year later, he's last out on the streets, Keen was received from Riverside County on June 2nd, 2005. He was sentenced to 1 year and 4 months for vandalism. He received 105 days of pre-sentencing credit for time served while awaiting sentencing. He was placed on parole supervision on December 14th, 2005, so he gets out again. On July 28th, 2006, Keen was received from Riverside County again, and on July 18th, 2006, he was sentenced to 2 years for assault with force likely to produce great bodily injury. He received 18 days of pre-sentence credit time for time served while awaiting sentencing. He gets out again on parole supervision July 15th, 2007. So it's building, right? He's doing these little petty crimes, picking up a small felony here, small felony there, year here, 2 years here. Gets out on parole July of 2007, and on September 26th of 2008, Keen was received from Riverside County on September 16th, 2008. He received 3 years for arson of property. He receives 14 days of pre-sentencing credit for time served while awaiting sentence, and on March 18th, 2010, guess what? He goes back. He was placed on parole. Oh, no, he gets out on parole supervision, and then on July 15th, 2012, he was discharged from parole supervision after having served his sentence as defined by the law. Well, on April 9th, 2013, Keen was received from Riverside County once again, and on March 29th, 2013, he was sentenced to 25 years for mayhem as a second striker with multiple prior prison terms. While incarcerated, Keen received life with the possibility of parole for second-degree murder, assault by a prisoner with a deadly weapon, or force that could result in great bodily injury, as well as possessing or manufacturing a deadly weapon as a prisoner. Keen committed the offenses while incarcerated as a third striker with prior felony convictions. And basically, the little bit I've got on Demetrios Kaloudizidis, again, RIP to him, and it's really sad for what his family had to go through. As far as you're in court, this guy gets sentenced, and he's turning around yelling all kinds of horrible things. Nobody deserves to go through that. Basically, his family did sue the California Department of Corrections, saying that, hey, our son, our brother, he's going in for some crimes, but nothing too awful. And basically, he's put in there with the highest security of inmates, a habitual offender, a known violent offender, and the prison was severely overcrowded. The population was at 143% of design capacity at the time of Kaloudizidis' death in 2013. Something that probably could have definitely been avoided. Don't really know the outcome of that lawsuit, but they did sue the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Yeah, pretty crazy one. Brandon Keen, man. Yeah, an absolute menace. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Till next time, you already know what it is. Have a good weekend. Peace.